Hi, it's Brandy. I tried doing this premiere thing where it's like um letting people know in advance that I was going to be going live at this time, but I don't think I got it quite right. But I have a lot of information prepared, so I'm just going to get started, so that those of you who are watching it on the not live, basically, can still get the information. So I wanted to just share. This is my very first Get Ready With Me. And it's we're getting ready for the new moon in Taurus, and it's the flower moon. Some people call it the hair moon, but and it depends on your background culture or what you believe. Sorry, I'm getting this out of the way. But whatever moon, it's a new moon in Taurus. It's a new moon in spring, so the energies are going to be approximately the same. And so basically, I'm just saying, if you wanted to do a working that used the energies of the season and this particular moon and moon cycle, moon phase, moon sign, and moon cycle. So the flower moon, the moon phase is Taurus, and the moon phase is new, and the moon sign is Taurus. Hi, Tina. Um, Hello. Um, that's what I'm trying to do. And so the series will go on. So next week, I hope to do, hi, Autumn Star. I'm hoping to do how you would prepare for Beltane. And then the next week would be how you would prepare for the full moon and so on and so forth. So this is something new on my channel. I haven't really shared very much about my practice, but I feel like we're close enough that I can get a little more intimate with you guys, and this knowledge might help somebody else. So basically, the first thing I do is I say, when is the new moon? And in my town, in the Pacific Northwest, so Pacific Standard Time, it is going to be Wednesday, April 22nd at 1925, so 7:25 in the evening, when the moon is going to be new and in Taurus. For me, this is very important information because I believe that until the moon is new, it's waning, it's still the dark moon, and that's a different type of energy than once it's waxing and you're creating new beginnings, you're starting new things. It has to be, for me personally, on the correct side of the wax or wane cycle. That's just my personal preference. Although some people do believe that 3 days before, 3 days after is totally fine. Whatever. It's totally up to you. Magic is very intimate and personal, and I'm not going to tell you that that's incorrect. I'm just going to check this really carefully today because last time I had lights on my face, but there was no light source. So weird. Hi, Mystical Moonflower. So the sign is Taurus. If you are subscribed to different groups or like subscriptions or just like different pagan entities, you will probably get a few emails in the days leading up to an Esbat or a Sabbat about like the forecast or like ideas for this type of medicine. Or for this type of magic or medicine, whatever you want to do. I know I do. And so some helpful resources that you might want to consider is, so I get emails from Spirit de la Lune, and I have their moon deck, and they'll just say like, this is where the moon is, this is the kind of magics, and they tell you like, oh, this is the time for blah, blah, blah. I like it. You can take what you want from those, and it tends to give me good ideas about what kind of working I'm going to do, and what kind of intention I'm going to set. So Spirit de la Lune, I'm going to leave links in the description bar once I go back and it comes live. So Spirit de la Lune, the Witch's Box. So Elena over the Witch's Box has a forecast for the new moon. Yes, Spirit, exactly that, Marge. I'm an eclectic witch. So there's the Witch's Box, who does a really nice forecast. Tame Wild Apothecary does a nice forecast. I believe the Witchcraft Way does a forecast. Although I am going to say in the last like 30 to 60 days, people have been not doing their regularly scheduled thing. And of course, we all know why. But barring that, same thing, Autumn Star, exactly the same, eclectic pilgrimage. Barring that, they will still have the information that you need. If you don't have those resources, and the reason I list those resources is because they're free. You don't have to purchase them. You can also look in any of your almanacs, and I have an almanac video, and I'm going to show you which ones I'm going to look at today. Your books, and I'm also going to show you some examples of what I look at, and different things, whatever it is you want to look at. So we're going to start there. That's how I start. I start gathering information about like, what is the energy for this time? What kind of intentions and magics? What is conducive at this time? I don't want to work against the natural world. I want it to work with me. So I'm going to bring out something controversial. You can feel about it how you want to feel about it. I've had this book since I was 18. I still think that, and this is Solitary Witch by Silver Ravenwolf, and some people love her. I think she's fine. Some people hate her guts, which, Marge, I keep every almanac because the stories and the information never go out of style. It's just the moon phases change. And I will leave a link for my favorite moon thing. You can set your time zone and it'll tell you every single moon sign for your house when it's going to happen. I keep it on my phone. It's saved on my phone, and anytime. It's controversial because some people think that she's a jerk, or she's like, I don't know. I try not to get too involved because some witches are very dogmatic, and I'm not doing that. Don't tell me how to connect with divine. She's just like, I guess she rubs some people the wrong way. I don't know. I like her. So what I'm going to leave links. All of this helpful stuff, I'm going to leave links on the description, but also on my Facebook page. So basically, I look up, she has a thing on Esbats. I want to say it's page 29. No, it's not page 29. What page is it? I look up this current Esbat. It's 24, page 24. I knew it was 20-something. Okay, so she says, for the new moon in Taurus, these are the energies. I'm going to read it to you because it's hard to read. So the basic energy is stability, peace, affection, responsiveness, saving, artistic ability, devotion, and harmony. And the color is red-orange. The element is earth. Suggested magical operations, rituals for prosperity, saving money, holding on to something you already have, like a grade point average, building and keeping harmony in your home, investing time and money in a project, long-term goal planning, spells for people you love, spells for long-term healing, meditations for peace. Avoid missing a good opportunity. Be careful of your own stubbornness. That's great information. And I'm just going to show you through different things. It's completely backed up by different sources. And so one thing I will say is try not to get your information from only one place, because not everybody is to be trusted. So just because you're watching things from me, I'm going to quote to you everybody that I'm quoting because I feel like that's helpful for your learning. It's helpful for my learning. You should always use references when you write a scientific paper, when you write whatever, to share information. You should always link back to the actual information that you use. So I'm going to make notes. I have my book of shadows here. I'm doing this as if I was really preparing, because I am. And so what I heard was, we're looking at prosperity, which is, I have a whole bunch of prosperity candles that I did in my candle collection that I want to use up. And tough times are coming because our economy is basically shut down. People don't have work. A lot of my friends, I'm even losing hours at work because we have an organization that has primary health centers and school-based health centers, and there's no school in Oregon. So all of our nurses who work at the schools still need hours so that they can live. So we have to share the hours that we had before with everybody. So I went from working over 50 hours a week to working less than normal. But it's okay because we got to do what we got to do to survive, right? So prosperity is a good thing right now, especially if you're worried. And even though I have so much, I still worry because a lot of people depend on me. So you might also do for saving money, stability in your home, safety of your home. And we'll talk more about it. This is just what stood out to me was prosperity, and that's what I'm going to go with. So that's Solitary Witch by Silver Raven Wolf. I like this book. Information I felt like was very good, and that I have used since I was a teen, 18, and that I have not really had the experience where A, she rubbed me wrong, or B, I found that her information was inaccurate. Don't worry, this is not about that. This is about taking charge, Autumn. We can do this, but it helps to have a little magic in your pocket. So the next one I'm going to use is, this is Llewellyn's Complete Book of Correspondences. This is a gem. If you can afford this, this is great. If you ever say, and I have a video coming out, also something I've never done before. I recorded, it's called Practical Magic, and just simple, easy to do spells that I like. You can do them as simple as you want. Hi, Lay. You can do them. Autumn, I'm going to make you admin so you can help me here. Thank you so much. I hope you don't mind. So you can do it as simple as you want, and you can do it as complicated as you want. And so when you're creating a spell, when you're building a magical working, you look at the correspondence. Oh, my name is Brandy. I usually say, hi, I'm Brandy. This is Hound Dog Hollow. Hound Dog is my, Hound Dog Hollow is my home. It's the name of my, so when you're creating a spell, part of it is like the law of attraction, like attracts like. BRANDDY. That's how you spell my name. BRANDDY. Hello, I'm Brandy. That's right, Autumn. Exactly that. So you might say, I want to do a prosperity spell. I'm going to roll with that. We're going to do it. So in this almanac, you would look up prosperity, and you would see it's laid out like this. So it would say, like, the zodiac sign most associated is Capricorn. The solar system is Jupiter and Sun. The days of the week, the element is Earth. The rune is Jera. The direction is this. The colors, the tarot is Pentacles. And so it's really helpful because I might say, okay, I know that I want to use a crystal ally. And so it says agate, aventurine, bloodstone, calcite, green, citrine, jade, red jasper, malachite, opal, etc., etc., etc. And so you could pick and choose what you had from there. You might make a crystal grid. Or for my planting spell, you might just put those crystals in your pot to help strengthen it. Or you might just have them on your altar when you're working on your spell, right? You might say, I'm going to plant a plant for the planting spell. What plant should I plant? And so you have like, you could plant a ginger, you could plant a nutmeg, you could plant basil. It's really, really good for that. Bergamot, chamomile. You might do comfrey, dill, golden seed. You might burn those as an incense. You might make a mojo bag for that. It's just like, this is the basics. It's not very helpful if you don't know how to use it because it just tells you how to connect it. You have to know either A, what you're looking for, or you could even say, okay, the new moon, what should I look for? Like, what does a new moon mean? And so you would go back and you would say new moon. Hold on, let me find this. So they have it in the beginning. They have it organized by like, I'll show you how it's organized. So it's like, what is the issue that you're trying to address? So if you know that you want to do a prosperity or protection, fertility, jealousy, then you would go there. They have the plant kingdom. So if you said, I am chamomile, I'm going to learn about chamomile, you would look chamomile up and it would do everything it corresponds with. Or you could do a tree or whatever. It has all sorts of plants. The next one would be mineral kingdom. So if you had a crystal that you really loved, really resonated with, or you're looking to buy a new one, you might look up a crystal here. It also has like shells and such. It says from the sea. Animals, same thing. If you have like an animal that's coming to you all the time, or I saw 2 blue jays this morning, what does that mean? You could look up blue jay correspondences, right? Let me look her up. Or I think Archangel Michael came to me. Let me look him up. Or I want to work with this person. What do they like? What corresponds with them? That would also be a good way to do that. And then it says astrological timing and reckoning. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 385. It's a huge book. And it's chock full of so much good information. So basically, I'm looking at moon phases, and it says for the new moon. I have the Llewellyn Delicious date book, and they always have the color for that day. Have you ever used that or have any idea what that means? It's just talking. So March, I will get more into that. I didn't buy the date book this year, but the same thing is in the magical almanac. And like, it just means like, because it's not just the month, the moon sign, it's also the days of the week have different correspondences. Monday is moon, Tuesday is Mars, Friday is Venus, Sunday is sun, right? Those are all things that have their own color associations. And so they're just saying, like, for that day, it would be really beneficial if you wanted to harness the energy of that day to use the color, let's say indigo. Okay. That's all that it means. It doesn't mean that you have to use that color. It's just saying, like, the way that things are lined out, the day of the week, the cycle of the moon, the position of the stars, they recommend this color. And they're, Llewellyn's one of my favorites. Again, I can't speak for everybody, but that's what that means. And I'm going to get into, I have a whole bunch of almanacs. I'm going to get into that. Keep asking questions as you want. I have old almanacs. I keep them forever because the information for the most part doesn't go bad. Just the almanac kind of does. Exactly, Autumn. Exactly. So it says new moon. So the color is black. So the only thing I don't like about this is because it's new moon / dark moon. And again, that's about being on the right side of the time. So I'm actually going to do waxing moon because that's what I want to work with right now. I want to do you might think of Imbolc. You might think of, because there's 8 moon cycles and each of them corresponds with a moon phase. So like Samhain would be the dark moon. Yule would be the new moon. Imbolc would be the waxing crescent, right? And then you have your waxing gibbous would be God bless America. Would be Ostara. And then Beltane and Samhain are opposites, right? So the darkest versus the lightest, so obviously full moon. And then you would be waning, going through the other Sabbats, right? And that's just a whole different thing. If you looked at a wheel of the year, you can also put that same thing with the cycles of the moon. So I've got a picture here. So there's 8. So you might have Beltane and Samhain. Obviously, the thinning of the veil is both. The veil thins both of these. But we think of this as the dark side of the year, and we think of this as the light side of the year, right? Hi, Lilypad. Thanks for joining. So basically, for a new moon, I'm looking at beginnings, improvement, rebirth, renewal, self-work, stability, well-being. I'm looking at growing, right? This is planting the seed. So, and then when I look at, it says the month is April, so that's where it comes with the hare moon. But you have seeds, flowers, which I think of as a flower moon. The colors are brown and green, light green. The gemstone is beryl diamond, malachite, sapphire, and zircon. This is a great time for beginnings, fertility, growth, and spirituality. Another thing that you might consider is we have a new moon in Taurus, so I would look up Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So you might look up Venus. I mean, you can go into it as far depth as you want, right? And so I'm looking at Taurus here. And the solar system is Earth and Venus. The season is spring. The day is Friday. The time is midnight. The runes are Ing and The element is Earth. The energy is Yin or receptive. The chakras are root, heart, and throat. The numbers are 2 and 5. The tarot cards are Empress, Hierophant, and Pentacles. Hierophant is my birth card. The colors are light blue, green, mauve, orange, pink, red, light yellow. Again, these are just correspondences. You don't have to use all of them. You can use what resonates with you and leave. Then it goes into trees, herbs, gemstones, so on and so forth. And it just gives you ideas. So for me, I'm already thinking prosperity. And so I'm trying to gauge, like, obviously green would go well with prosperity. If I wanted to pick a tree or an herb, I would pick one that I also relates to prosperity. The cinnamon is really good. Oh, sorry, that says cardamom. Carnelian, agate, diamond, emerald, jade. Jade is really good for prosperity. I would think of that. Pyrite. Ooh, I would use pyrite. I'm going to put that. I'm going to write this down. So I'm just building up things that I want. I would do pyrite. I would do jade. That different layers for this prosperity spell. The metals would be brass or copper, coral, birds would be dove or robin, and then it goes to different goddesses that you might evoke or invoke or ask to join you or pay devotion to. And different gods, different animals, and then issues. So affection, comfort, dedication, devotion, determination, endurance, grounding, the home, intuition, jealousy, like vitality, love, lust, sex magic, the logical mind, money, order and organization, passions, patience, pleasure, protection, security, the senses, sensuality, sexuality, stability, strength, and wealth. And again, these are all things that you could think of when you are in the sign of the bull anyway, when you think of bulls as an animal. I mean, I think of strong, slow, but like slow but not weak, like a charging train if they needed to be. And then I would look at, last but not least, I could look at Venus and say, okay, Venus, what do you got for me? Trying to read the comments at the same time. So Empress, of course, is Venus. Justice, a star. She's also Earth. She's receptive energy. There's all these. So Venus, it's going to be almost exactly the same as Taurus because Taurus is ruled by Venus, but it's like affection, agriculture, attraction, beauty, beginnings, compassion, creativity, desire, emotions, fertility, happiness, harmony, lust, passion, pleasure, relationships, etc. So I'm just gathering different ideas and things that I'm thinking about adding to my working. So basically, this is. Oh yeah, they do more than all the ladies. That's why it's fertility magic. All I'm trying to do here is, that book was, again, one more time, Llewellyn's Complete Book of Correspondences. It's a really good book. I highly recommend it. If you can, I mean, put it on your wish list, put it on your Amazon list. There's always sales. I'm going to take a quick drink. Pardon me. But what I'm doing here is just gathering information about the foundation of the working that I'm going to do with the energy that I have right now. Those are the energies that are going. I'm feeling that with everything going on, prosperity is looking really good. I'm going to keep, I have one more non-almanac source. So I know this is how to write a grimoire. And basically, this would be, Amber, this would be, so this is not about writing a grimoire. However, and some people say grimoire. You can say it however you want, boo-boo. I'm going to say grimoire because that's what I feel like. And so, oh, thank you. Oh. So basically, here's what I'm thinking. The Book of Shadows that I'm writing in is for my actual workings, right? It's for the things that I do. It's for the dreams that I get. It's for my notes every day. It is literally my book of everything that I do as a witch. And so, and because I think that being a witch is it's just literally just being me. And we can get into that philosophical concept a different time. It is sometimes filled with all sorts of different mundane information or information that seems mundane, but to me makes a lot of magical sense or spiritual sense. So the Book of Shadows is like my diary, my magical diary. This, a Grimoire, to me, and I haven't even started to make a long-term Grimoire because I want it to be perfect, and I know that's not going to happen, but I'm learning to paint so that I can paint. I want it to be beautiful. I want it to be a family heirloom. So, basically, to me, a Grimoire is the actual recipe, the actual how-to information. So it's kind of like Pinterest where you see like, oh, create this beautiful creme brulee. That's the recipe is the Grimoire, right? And then when you share the picture about how it went, that's your book of shadows. That's like, did it go well? Did it not go well? What could you do differently? You know, like what happened here? And so I feel like they're two different things, but they're both very valuable. So long story short, the reason this book is helpful is because they're like, if you were to set up a Grimoire, you might consider adding this. You might consider putting it in this order. You might consider so on and so forth. So basically what I'm going to look for is lunar spells. They have a whole chapter on it. Thank you, honey. You're so sweet. Okay, so you guys know I'm really into astrology. And so Venus is, God, they better not kick me off because of that stupid noise. They kicked me off once before because of that. It was really weird. Okay, so Venus is the ruler of Taurus. And so the areas of influence are love, relationships, social interactions, art, creativity, beauty, and women. So that's just one aspect, right? And then it's also rules Libra. So I'm going to read to you about Taurus. The sun enters Taurus around April 21st, but actually it entered it today. Sun enters Taurus today. And remains in the sign until about May 20th, although this can vary a day or so from year to year. In many parts of the northern hemisphere, in many parts of the northern hemisphere, the days now grow warmer and the earth begins to bring forth the first of its bounty. Therefore, we consider Taurus a fruitful sign and connect it with abundance. That goes with the prosperity that I'm looking for. Are your creative juices stirring? Do you feel a desire to express yourself or use your talents in a productive way that others can appreciate? The earthy energy of Taurus can help bring your ideas to fruition. Do you feel more sexual than usual? Hey. Because Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, rules this sign. You may focus on relationships or devote yourself to sensual pleasures now. So what I'm hearing is you could do abundance, prosperity, beauty, and all sorts of relationship stuff in this new moon. So then it goes through like different spell suggestions per season. So the fruitful, down-to-earth nature of this sign, Taurus, supports spells to attract material qualities. Now's the time to do magic for wealth, comfort, and security, and abundance of all kinds. Taurus's creative energy also encourages fertility, whether you're trying to start a family or birth a creative work of art. Love spells can benefit from the cosmic forces at work now, too. Tap the power of plants, and we're going to do a planting spell. I've already recorded it. It's going to be after this. Not today, but the day after. Hi, Wiccan. Tap into the power of plants and gemstones this month to enhance your spells. So that's a really good, we were talking about like, so for the plant spell, I have a pot. I have the intention, the soil, you plant your seed or your plant, and of course you can use a plant that's associated with whatever you want. So for me, prosperity might be basil, and from there I might put some pyrite on the top of the plant. It's really pretty, and it also helps with the intention. And as you tend that plant, as you tend your intention, your help manifest what you had originally set out. So that's why I like. So also I consider planting spells an earth spell, and so it goes good. I'm working with the energy of the season. Also, planting spells is just like something that you do right now, unless you're in the southern hemisphere. Sorry. So if you are a druid, this might be the willow moon for you instead of what I consider the the plant moon, or I'm sorry, the flower or the hair moon. So I'm just looking. So moon phases. The new moon encourages beginnings. Are you looking for a new job, a new romance, a new home? The best time to start anything is during the new moon. As the moon grows in light, your undertaking will grow too. So that's important. We talked about that. The moon in Taurus is abundance, fortitude, fertility, sex, plant or earth magic, spells for home or property. So we're already looking at that as well. And then, so that's what I'm getting from this one. I've got a lot of ideas. I definitely know I want to use plant and gemstone. I definitely want abundance and prosperity. I'm thinking that is how I'm building this spell. So then I have the actual almanacs for the year. Some of them, so like my herbal almanac, it's good in that I'm going to be doing some kind of plant magic, and an article in here might help me. But as far as doing the actual work, this one doesn't help me that much. I just brought it out because it's one of my almanacs. So again, I'm just putting things out of the way so I have space here. The Magical Almanac by Llewellyn. The helpful part, again, this is all about articles. The reason that this is so, I keep these forever is because the articles don't go bad, so to speak. Some get dated as the way that our cultural norms and witchcraft go. So for me, this is April 2020, yeah. It says that the new moon, it's Earth Day, so that's another thing. That's another good reason to do a plant magic. Anything that you can plant on Earth Day is going to have the magic of that day as well. The moon is in Taurus. Incense recommendations are marjoram. Recommended color is white, and so on and so forth. So that would be the only thing that's really helpful in this one. The articles may or may not be helpful. There might be a spell work in here that you've been wanting to try that relates to something that you felt resonated with the energies of the season. But for me, that's about the extent of the use that I'm going to use for that book. This is another favorite. Same concept. I'm going to look at, what are we in? This is the first day of Taurus. So talks about emerald. Suggest using emerald, and that would be good for prosperity magics. So you may or may not get something that really resonates with what you're trying to do here. I do have a spell a day book. I just didn't like it. And also, if you follow Diane at Earthy Taurus, she has a spell a day, and she reads them basically every day on her channel. So I go over and watch them, and and that way I can see, like, I had a spell a day almanac, and I got probably 5 spells out of like 360. So it was, to me, not worth it, and I didn't buy it again this year. This one is new to me, so it's a little bit harder for me to navigate, like, so, wait, I think I saw an article that I really liked. So it says, Taurus, long-term objective for solid foundations, peaceful relationships and cooperation, protection spells, artistic and creative endeavors. Hello. And let's see what it says about the energy. We're still in March. I'm trying to find April. I haven't really gotten into this book yet, right? So it doesn't even have a recommendation. So not going to be helpful in this respect. This one is literally about this. So definitely going to have the information that we're going to do, and I'm going to share it with you. I'm obviously not the author of this book. This is by Llewellyn. Oh, is Mercury going to go retrograde? So in my Book of Shadows, I have when is Mercury going retrograde? Mercury doesn't go retrograde until June. So I don't know what this is talking about. But Pluto is going to go retrograde next week. So that might be something to think about. Basically, so that part's not very helpful. And I'm sorry if parts of this is kind of slow, but I'm trying to walk through this with you the way that I would do this. So let's talk about the Taurus moon. A Taurus moon's energy is feminine, semi-fruitful, and earthy. The moon is exalted, very strong in Taurus. Taurus is known as the farmer sign because of its association with farmland and precipitation that is the typical day-long soaker variety. Taurus energy is good to incorporate into your plans when patience, practicality, and perseverance are needed. Be aware, though, that you may also experience stubbornness in this sign. Things started in Taurus tend to be long-lasting and to increase in value. And so that really resonates with me, prosperity-wise. This can be very supportive energy in a marriage election. On the downside, the fixed energy of the sign resists change. I'm already really good at that. Or the letting go of even the most difficult situations. A divorce following a marriage that occurred during the Taurus moon may be difficult and costly to end. Things begun now tend to become habitual and hard to alter. If you want to make changes in something you started, it would be better to wait for Gemini. This is a good time to get a loan, but expect the people in charge of money to be cautious and slow to make decisions. The ruler is Venus. The impulse is stability. It rules your neck, throat, and voice. So that's really good information to me, particularly because I'm looking at doing a prosperity spell, and I don't mind putting in hard work, but it matters to me that things started now tend to last long and increase in value. So that's really super helpful to what I'm thinking about. There's a lot of information in this book. I'm just trying to get to the meaty part that I want to share with you. They literally still have a section about forecasting the weather, which is super cool for some people, but not something that I watch. I don't even want to think about the economic forecast. Here we go. New moon forecast. So this one, so far we've been looking at things that pertain to Taurus, new moon, and Venus energy in general. This one's going to be specifically, what I'm going to read to you is Wednesday, April 22nd, the new moon in Taurus. This is specifically about the one that's coming up on Wednesday. Spring fever hit a couple weeks ago, so this new moon could increase self-protection. Taurus moons bring out a stubborn streak, but don't get vexed over trifles. The moon is at odds with Mars, so male/female interactions could be fraught. And it talks about, this is a little bit different. Hold on, let me see. So he goes through each sign, which is new this year. So if your sign is Aries, and it probably means sun, moon, or rising, sustained growth is your theme, but don't get boxed into a corner. Taurus, as much as you prefer same old over shock of the modern, this new moon will get you thinking bigger. It's a great time to end old habits. Cool. Gemini, it's okay to be possessive and to count your pennies. Cancer, your need for beauty is huge. What attire makes you feel your best? Leo, it's okay to be stubborn and roar. That's good because I'm good at that, stubborn and roaring. Virgo, indulge in a beautification ritual. Your taste is sublime. Hey, Virgos, maybe you're doing some beautifying energy, beautifying your home. Hi, Michelle. Beautifying your home, beautifying your person, whatever. Maybe some self-love. Libra, partnerships are highlighted. Others help you find strength. Scorpio, your analytical talents are peaking. Sagittarius, find strength in your partnerships. Capricorn, being more efficient in work practice comes easily. Aquarius, dissatisfaction over an appearance issue could be vexing. Pisces, it's time to plant. Pisces, do the plant spell with me. Check it out. Yeah. That's funny. So that's basically the forecast for this upcoming new moon, and according to Llewellyn's moon sign book. And then finally, this is Spirit de la Lune Almanac. Yes, I collect almanacs. It's a thing that I do. But you can use my knowledge in this case to your benefit, because I have a lot of ephemera cycle. And so it says for the flower moon, so basically this new moon begins the flower moon cycle. So the flower moon itself will be on the full moon. But the whole cycle is the flower moon cycle. The gems of the month are amber, carnelian, emerald, malachite, and moonstone. I'm wearing a moonstone bracelet right now. So basically, it has a suggested spread. This spread was created by Spirit de la Lune. I don't own this spread. It even says created by Spirit de la Lune. It's a flower moon reading. Okay, so basically, the reason that they're circle is because the Spirit de la Lune decks are circle, right? But you can do this with tarot or oracle or whatever you want. It's all about gauging what the energies are. So basically, what is your deepest desire? What disconnects you from your deepest desire? The 3 and the 4 is what is my feminine essence? How can she fully bloom? You could even say, what is my receptive essence? What is my yin essence? Whatever, if you don't identify as feminine, that's not what it means. It just means that's just how they're referring to receptive. And then on this side is, what is my masculine essence? How can he fully bloom? And then the sacred union to bring my desires of fruition. So basically, just really nice, like, this is my desires. These are the 2 different competing polarities of my personality. How can they join to give me what I want? You can do this with any deck. And that's what they have. I wrote it on this paper just to make it bigger. But there it is. And they have good offerings. So basically, their forecast for the week is the moon turns new on April 22nd, joining the sun in the earthy sign of Taurus. We are now entering the flower moon cycle. As an earth element, Taurus reminds us that patience and sometimes dirty work are important factors when it comes to growing anything. When you plant a seed, you must take daily steps to ensure its growth. Aside from water, sunlight, and healthy soil, a seed needs trust and faith because much of the growth, like the moon right now, is hidden. Pluto, the planet of revelation, goes retrograde in the Sirius sign of Capricorn on April 25th. Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, and the shadows, and when in retrograde in Capricorn, this could cause secrets or stories of corruption to come to light. Pluto will be retrograde until October 4th, creating opportunity for powerful transformation beginning around this new moon. Mercury enters Taurus on the 27th, which will help you communicate with your loved ones in a way that can make lasting connections. And it says another gem that you might consider is green jade. Green jade is a powerful stone for helping you see and feel the beauty all around you and within you. She is soothing and healing and heart-opening. During this flower moon, you will bloom with grace with green jade by your side and heart. So very nice, good information, I feel like. And yeah, so one more. Here's the Taurus new moon reading. Again, my drawing sucks, but this is 1, 2, 3 cards. They're circles because that's how the deck looks. So how am I experiencing love right now? What is budding beneath the surface? And how can I show up my best? And this is more of the love relationship side of the sign. Okay, so that was my first step. I go through, I know what time the moon is. I know what sign it's going to be in. I've got all these thoughts about like what I'm wanting to work on and how I might do it. What kind of working I might do, what kind of allies, plant, medicine, deity, crystal, whatever, what kind of allies I might use. So I've got all this brewing in my head, and that's how we get started with magical workings. I feel like some magical workings are like, boom, but I feel like When I do it this way, I get more value because I build a foundation of knowledge that I can use forever. And so I really want to know. So when I was in math, they would say x plus whatever equals this. And I was always like, why? Why does that mean that? And they would be like, that's just the formula. And so you can do magic that way. Just follow a formula and it'll happen. But I don't think that for me, at the very least, really works, because I need to know, why is x plus y going to equal this? And so I need a concrete example to wrap my brain around why these different things mean this. So that's why I need to know, like, why is this a good time for prosperity magic? Because of the energies, because of the way that Venus interacts with Taurus, and Taurus is an earth sign, and the time of the year is about growth. So for me, these foundational knowledge building blocks make my workings stronger, because I know how to do something, I know why I'm doing it, and I know what energies and strengths are making it happen. And so I feel like for me, that's very, very important to my spiritual health. So I again, you can check those helpful websites, you can check your books. So I've gone through my websites and my resources, I've gone through my information for suggestions. Now it's time for me to narrow down my intention. So your intention is something that, exactly. I'm talking so much, my mouth is getting. So, given all that information, you may not be ready yet to have an intention. You may be like, there's so much I need or want or need to work on. Oh, something very important I forgot to mention. When people start things on the new moon, the thing that you start on the new moon, you're anticipating coming to fruition on the full moon. However, I anticipate it coming into fruition when the moon is full in Taurus. What I start on the new moon in Taurus will come to fruition on the full moon in Taurus. There is nothing in my life that I want, that I'm working for, that will happen in 2 weeks. Nothing. There may be something that you want and you're working for, that you want to have on that small time frame, which is between your new moon and your full moon, which is 2 weeks. But for me, I'm working on things long term. What I start now doesn't bloom until doesn't bear fruit until the full moon in Taurus. So basically, even if you planted a seed now, you may get a start, you may have a sprout by the full moon, but you're not going to get fruit right away. And most things in life, and most intentions and manifestations and workings, they don't happen that quickly. Some things do, or some things get started very quickly and you feel very encouraged, and you're moving through, you know, you feel like your working worked, and for what it's worth, it did work. However, things take time. What you want, if it's worth you doing magic or setting an intention or manifestation or putting your energy out to change reality, it is worth working for, and it's worth working for over time. And so that's what this is really, the length of time for me is what it's really about. Things I don't believe happen, or you can do quick things. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying when you're working with the Esbat or the Sabbat power, you're working longer term. Sabbat is different. We'll get to that. When we get to talk about Sabbats next week, I'll tell you like what I think about that. But what I'm talking about with a new moon, for me, I'm setting an intention. That's true. And I do put cinnamon on my plant spells, but even earth magic is not fast magic. Earth is slow. That's just the way it is. I mean, it isn't, it might not be, it might be a mudslide for you, right? Which is very fast. Or an earthquake, which happens very quickly. That's not to say like that what I'm thinking is correct. You do whatever is best for you. But what I think of as a slow, steady, stable magic is earth magic, which is why the planting spell is not instant. There's no plant that you're going to plant and harvest so quickly. You have to love it. You have to grow it. You have to do your devotion, your work to it for it to bloom. And that's what I think of as earth magic. Yes, you can have a mudslide, you can have a earthquake, you can have some kind of huge catastrophic thing, and if for the right reasons, absolutely do that. But for me, this is a longer term thing. Again, that has nothing to do with how you're going to practice. What I'm saying with, if you're, everything that I'm talking about today comes from my perspective, that I'm working long term, that I'm doing a slow type of magic, earth magic, that I'm doing harnessing the energies of Earth and Venus and Taurus. Bulls can move fast, and it's usually not a good thing for you. But they can also be steady and slow and strong. So for me, this is going to be a longer term thing. So when I'm doing my thing and I'm making me get ready, that's what I mean. I mean that what I'm doing now will come to fruition in the new moon, in the full moon in Taurus, which is going to be in the fall. Okay, enough of that rant. So basically, let's say you have all this information. We've done our forecast, we've got our energies, we've got our correspondences, we've taken notes. You might not be ready yet to choose an intention, and that's where journaling comes in. So you would sit here and you would, you can journal in your book of shadows. You can do a meditation. You can call on your guides. You could do a walk in nature, whatever. You could do yoga, exercise, whatever, boo-boo, whatever makes you happy, whatever clears your mind, whatever helps you focus your thoughts and intentions. You do you, whatever. So for me, if I'm thinking, I will journal, I will think, but because I've been preparing this for you guys, I've already had a lot of time to think. So I know what I want. Some months I don't. Some months are really hard for me. Like, believe it or not, a new moon in Leo is usually kind of hard for me because, like, part of me, the Leo part of me wants fame and recognition, but part of me is an introvert, and I'm like, so it just depends. It just depends. So this moon is easy for me because Taurus really goes along with me. But if you go through all those things and you don't have an intention that you want to do, don't be discouraged. That's okay. Do some journaling, do some oracle or tarot spreads, pray, sleep on it, ask for a dream to come to you, flip a coin. I don't know, whatever it is you need to do to narrow down your list of intentions. So for me, I have it narrowed down. I know I want to do a prosperity / abundance thing. Now, the thing with an intention is you need to, and this is, again, I'm saying things like you need to, or you should, or you want to keep in mind that this is my practice. You're getting ready with me. When you're watching a regular getting ready with me video, and like Nabella is my favorite. If you don't know Nabella, you need to. She's a beautiful soul. And she she looks really good, but she's always wearing falsies, and she's got she bakes her face with the powders and shit. Her getting ready with me for a nice dinner with her husband is not the same as what I would do to get ready for a nice dinner with my husband. But both of them, whatever, it's whatever works for you. So what I'm telling you is how I get ready for a new moon. And maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you don't need any concealer. Maybe you're more of a hydrating BB cream and some mascara and you're done. What I'm talking about is a full-blown shebang, but not so much like a whole coven ritual, because that's not what I'm working with. All I'm saying here is that this is what I'm doing. You take what you need and you leave what you don't. You're not wrong. I'm not wrong. This is how it is. We can both be, spirituality is not dogmatic. You can do you, I can do me. Anyway, so when you're writing an intention, it should be in present tense and positive. The reason for that is that you're going about it as if it's already happened. So when I'm writing an intention, I say, so like the one that I use for my plant video, I use as an example. I am safe. Nothing can harm me. It was for a protection spell for my property. You'll see that tomorrow. And that might be, I mean, I believe in keeping it short. So I have my tools here, aside from my Book of Shadows, boop, and my pen, my favorite pen. I keep these little envelopes from my boxes. You can go to Michael's. You can get it on Amazon. You can make an envelope from a piece of printer paper. You don't have to use an envelope if you don't want to at all. Whatever. But I like to keep my intentions in a little envelope with a little parchment. I write it down. I put it in here. And the next time I look at this is going to be the full moon in Taurus. And this is going to have happened. If it didn't happen, usually the thing. Because I think it almost always happens, but how it happens is kind of like the universe's thing. Sometimes you have to be really, really careful what you ask for, because the way that the universe will bring things to fruition may not be how you had imagined it. So try to be as specific as you can. Oh, I might be able to make that one Tuesday. So that sounds really exciting. But anyway, because this is not the full moon yet, obviously, the new moon yet. When I do my intention, which I'm not going to do for you guys because I don't believe in actually showing you my workings for superstitious reasons. I am going to show you like all of my steps. So, sorry, I dropped my parchment, so that you can do it at home. So basically, I've narrowed down the intention. You know what I'm generally going to do. I'm going to think and really hard about how I'm going to do this. Sometimes it's really simple. It might just be prosperity. It might just be I have more than enough. Whatever. I'm going to write it. I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to seal it. It's going to be done. Oh, it's just, I love these Sharpie pens just because it writes well. There's nothing magical about it. When I was younger, again, this is customizable to you. You could write with a porcupine quill, and I did when I was 18 with a porcupine quill and Dragon Blood's ink or special inks made with whatever and aligning with your intentions. You can do that, but I'm literally scrabbling in my notes. And so for me, magic is important to do when things are not perfect, because sometimes when you really need it, shit is not perfect. It is not quiet. You don't have all your tools. Like, you have to really be able to focus your intention on something with all this drama and blah, 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 blah. So for me, this is everyday life. And magic and bringing my dreams to reality is everyday life. It's what you do every day that ends up creating your reality. So I don't need a special pen. Do I sometimes use a special pen? Hell yes. Do I need it? No. I like things. You guys know I like things. I collect things. I like having things. I love things. Things are awesome. But when I'm doing, especially for these practical small magics, I use whatever I use every day. Except for, obviously, I don't use these every day, but these feel like really special, and I know that I'll hold on to them. And that it will be nice for me to come back to. That sounds great, Rochelle. A calligraphy pen would be really nice, but I get really embarrassed about my penmanship. I know. These are my special pens. My husband hates them. I just love these Sharpie pens. They're very rich, bright colors, but they don't bleed. And they flow really nice. I love it. Anyway, so we're at the step where we have narrowed down our intention, and you might not have chosen the exact words of your intention yet. You don't have to. We don't have to do that here right now. All I'm saying is when you do choose, try to make it in present tense, positive in present tense. You might want to rekindle your marriage, and you could say, I don't know. You could even be blunt and be like, I have great sex with my husband at least 3 times a week. I don't know. And that would work too. That would be totally fine. Um, you know, if you did something beauty, you could be like, I know, Rochelle. Oh God. I make time for my self-care regularly to keep my spirit nourished. That might be one. That's kind of wordy, but that might be what you're looking for here. I don't know what your beauty regimen looks like, but the great sex one is good too. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, just positive in the present tense. Oh my gosh. We're trying to conceive, so that's got to happen on a schedule, which also he doesn't like. You would think he would like it more regularly, but he's just like, you're just using me for my seed. Wow. So basically, that's just the general idea is that we are having an intention that's set positively. Here's the other things that I do. Once I have my intention, and I haven't even written it, when I write it in here, which I haven't written, it's just my practice writing. I write it on the parchment the moment of the working, because that's when I'm putting it. When I write it in the working and I put it in my envelope, that is when I'm wanting to activate. Ooh, yeah, girl. That is when I'm wanting to activate that intention. Rochelle. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the next step for me is there's 2 more steps. I have here a whole bunch of decks because I like to get divine information, so to speak, um, before I start an intention. So I'm just going to start pulling out my decks. And I've chosen these decks because either A, they have a new moon spread, or B, it's something I habitually use on the new moon. I don't have any of my new decks yet because I can't use it. Not that I can't. I don't believe in using a deck until I've appropriately blessed it with a campfire. That's just me. So I'm using the Goddess Power Oracle. Why am I using this oracle? Because their new moon intention activation spread. So you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You can do this with your new moon. You're trying to gauge like, how can I activate my intention? So here's position 1. What do I need to know about the quality of my current intention? Number 2, how do I co-create from my most empowered self? Number 3, what action do I need to take in order to ignite the magic of my intention? Number 4, what do I need to do to co-create my highest good at this time? Number 5, what is the potential outcome of my intention? And number 6, how, if at all, do I course correct to be in better alignment with my intention for the highest good? Bye, Jesse. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so basically, this is a very nice spread. You don't have to do these things. You could do it with the tarot. You could do it with whatever. But it's a really nice spread. And here's the positions, what they mean. It's a really nice spread for saying like, okay, here's my intention. Like, what is goddess guidance about that? And I always do that to coincide with my goddess guidance cards. Oh, thank you. So for these ones, this is not one that has a new moon spread. This is one that I have habitually used for almost 15 years. Am I getting older? Maybe more. And basically, I just say, I have this intention with the new moon energy. What god should I keep in mind, or what goddess should I channel, or however I'm going to phrase it that time. I just do it naturally. What goddess can help me? What should I keep in mind? Sorry, my connection is unstable. So what energy should I try to harness, just like as an extra thing? So I might draw Nematoa, which is about sacred space. And if I was doing an intention about protection, then I would know, like, I really need to have this working on my altar for a while. So let's see. The same thing with this deck. I also pull one saying, what divine feminine do I need to work with? What do I need to keep in mind? Who has a message for me about this intention? Just one. So those are single card draws, and they just enrich what I'm already looking at. This one has another, you're going to see a lot of deck reviews on my channel. I just want to put them on my channel. I know that all of my friends have done them before. If I was inspired to buy this deck by a friend who did one, I will link it, like I did with Rochelle's for this deck. But otherwise, it's not a competition. It's nothing like that. It's just for my own enjoyment, and also for the quality of the content on my channel, because we may or may not have the same subscribers. And so I really like this. It's a new moon, 7-card new moon reading. And it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it builds up. So basically, it's you do it at the beginning of the noon cycle, and these are the animal guides that are going to help you in these specific areas of your life. So number 1, survival, money, tangible assets, work. Number 2, intimate relationships, family dynamics, friendships, your tribe. Number 3, your personal power, self-worth, and how you show up in the world. Number 4, deeper connections to life, healing past patterns, and support for overall well-being and happiness. The next level is communication, being heard, owning your voice, and how you say who you are to others, so communicating. Number 6, imagination, vision, creativity, and then at the top, number 7, intuition, spirituality, and your relationship to a higher power. I always do this one. It's nice to know what animal spirits to keep in mind as I'm working, and it kind of gives me a hint as to how it's going to go. I always give my opinion. I have a lot of them. So the last two, no, there's 4 more. I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep going. I'm literally walking you through everything I do. You can take or leave whatever you want. So I have 2 moon decks. I'm not going to lie. This is by far and away my favorite, the Spirit de la Lune deck. This one's also very nice, the Queen of the Moon Oracle. They're both beautiful. I love them. Yeah, thank you, Marge. You're awesome. So these are the decks that I use most for my moon work. I have gotten out of my favorite habit, which was checking them every morning. And so Spirit de la Lune, I can't recommend enough. I love this deck. I have a walkthrough on my channel. It's beautiful, beautiful. So basically for this one, I can do either the flower moon thing, flower moon reading. I can do the new moon and Taurus reading. Exactly, Rochelle. And I like the flip throughs because sometimes I literally just want to see, like, what does the Hierophant look like? Or like with the spirit animal, it was just so beautiful. I had to have it. So there's what I like about this is that it has like different spell recommendations for each. So the flower moon I've already shown you, but it also says like the flower simply blooms and the bees are magnetically drawn to her. The flower moon is a compelling time for creativity, sensuality, and connecting to your deepest desires. What would it mean for you to bloom like the flower does? The flower moon is a time of sacred union between masculine and feminine, creating and merging into one. Now is the time to balance these sacred energies within you. This is a fertile time for you. You can feel this potent energy physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You are beginning to see great gains in your intention, and fruition is taking place. Take a moment and celebrate. Connect with your senses. Stay present and say thanks. When you acknowledge your growth, you can then fully blossom and bloom. Or the shadow side of this card, because there's also a card called Flower Moon, is you feel out of balance. There is a disconnection between your dreams and your soul. Fruition seems far away. You may be longing for a sacred union, but know it must come from within first. Follow this yearning within yourself. Let it lead you to your deepest desires. So during this cycle, you could work on fertility and creation, love, fruition, manifestation, balancing your yin and yang, spirituality and intuition, sensuality. Celebrating your achievements, decorate your altar with flowers, explore your sexuality, find your creative flow, focus on your sacral chakra. Gemstone recommendations are amber, carnelian, emerald, malachite, and moonstone. And then we've already seen the thing. So basically, I'll pull out this card, and I may or may not do that spread. And then, of course, I'll pull the new moon card and the Taurus card. And those will be the cards that I look at for this day. Those will be, so I'll actually do two readings. I'll do one where it's just like the literal energies present, and I'll do the second one, which is the flower moon reading. And so that's really, let's got my hair in here. That's one of the things that I do. I really like this. All of this is just adding depth and information. You don't have to do this. You may have one drawing, or you may do runes. You may do whatever. Bye, Heather. You may, it's up to you. Everybody's different. This is just how I do it. You can take it or leave it. Some days I don't do all of it. Some days it's just literally all that I can do to light the ofrenda, and that's it. That's it. So I'm just pulling. This one has a new moon. No, it doesn't have a new moon. The dogs are barking. Sorry, guys. This one doesn't have a new moon spread. So for this one, I would just draw the cards for this season. So I would draw a new moon card. What are they barking at? What? I'm so sorry. Everybody's howling. Sorry about that. I see my husband in the yard. I don't know if he locked them inside or what. Anyway, February, March, April. So this is the egg moon, according to this one. It's not really what I would. No rabbits. I think they're locked in the house. They really, really are not pleased about it. So here's my husband and my son at the kitchen door letting them out. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, so the egg moon, and then we would do like, that would be it. So this one I only do 2 cards. It's not as resonating with me as the other one, but it's still very good. It's 3. They're just loud. And then Sully is going crazy. Sorry. Okay, the last 2 are the astrological ones. I don't actually use these ones very often, but you might use these ones to pull like the Luna card and the Taurus card and see what those energies inspire in you. As you know, this is not my favorite deck. It's not like I hate it, but it's not my favorite. And you could also use the Black Moon Astrology. This one's a little bit richer and has a little bit more nuance that you can use for this. I think it has a, does it have a new Lune spread? Here Now and Later, an astrological, black moon, planetary. So it doesn't have one, but I would take, of course, the moon card, the Taurus card. You might, I'm not going to pull in the houses, but I might pull in the earth element. However, and just again, this is just for more information to flesh out your manifestation. So like the idea is, you know, for magic, you have to know, to will, to keep silent. I missed one there, God. But you know what I'm saying. To dare, to know, to will, to dare, to remain silent, for things to happen. And this is just like, you're just getting all this information. So like you, for me, I feel comfortable. Like, okay, I've got all this information. This all resonates. This is how I need to think about it. This is the work that needs to be done. And so when it comes time on the new moon for me to write my intention and do my work, if I'm going to do a work, which I am, I feel really like I know. And that way I can do it, I can know it, and I can just let the universe have it because I know it's going to be done. And so that's what, for me, gathering all the information is about. So from there, I've got all my information. At this point, I definitely have my intention, right? The next and final step, not final step, the spell working is the final step. But the next step for me is saying like, okay, I'm going to do prosperity stuff. This is my intention. This is what I'm looking for. Now I'm going to build a spell with the correspondences. So I am going to be doing a planting spell. I have the planting spell coming out on my channel. Again, I did it very not very bland so that you can adjust it however you want. You can make it as big of a ceremony or as small of a spell of a working as you want. It should have the same power for you. It just depends on your intention, how the strength of your intention and the strength of your will. So let's say that's what we're preparing for. So I'm going to say, okay, do I have all my items? Do I have a plant or a seed? And then I would say, for this working prosperity, I'm going to want a plant that is related to that. So I might have basil seeds. I might have a basil plant. I might have a money tree seed. I might have chamomile. I might have whatever plant it is or seed that I'm going to be planting. I have that. It corresponds to my thing. I have it. That's the bare minimum. If you're going to do a planting spell, you need something to plant. Then do I have a receptacle for the plant? Yeah, it's still daytime here. Do I have the receptacle for the plant? And so this you can do as simple or as you can plant it into the earth. Of course, you don't need a receptacle in that case. You just need the soil and a place where it's going to grow. And I have done it that way numerous times. Usually that one is for more wish magic because like I can't control that as much as the other thing. And so I hate for me to do a whole prosperity thing and the damn chickens get into it and destroy it. It doesn't mean that my intention's not working, or it could mean that outside forces are going to F that up. I don't know. Yeah, they have I have a correspondence books and a spell ingredients catalog. I just didn't bring it to this thing. I'll bring it next time. And I think that the more the merrier, because everybody's got different ingredients that they use. I'd actually like one more hoodoo related, because they use a lot more mundane things that you and I can totally be using all the time also. So, what I think is that I have a pot. I could make the pot green or golden to correspond with my prosperity magic. I could make it have a sigil. I could make it myself. If I wanted to add that layer to the magic, I could So maybe you made a wooden planter for yourself. I could sigil it. I could paint it. I could put symbols on it that meant something to me. The color could mean something to me. All of those things you can add into the working of the spell to intensify your working. Those are things that you build. That's building a spell, is adding the different correspondences, and each nuance adds a layer to your intention, right? Sometimes I just grab a damn pot and some soil and I say, this is going to be this. And I put all my heart and soul into it and it works just fine. You don't have to do all of that. But I'm just saying, if you want to, you could. So you're going to need a soil medium appropriate to your plant. Orchids don't use the same soil, or they don't like the same soil as tomatoes. Orchids like a really particular soil. So you're going to want that for your plant. You're going to want a piece of paper or even something to write your intention on. Some people might write it on bay leaves. Or if you wanted a protection spell, you could take an egg that you already did. Eggshells are really good. And write it on your eggshell and put it on the bottom and put your plant on top of it. And so not only do you have your intention under your plant for protection, eggshells are good for protection, but also you have, as the eggshells break down, they nourish your plant. So that's also exactly, magic isn't everything. I like that too. So that's something else that you could layer in, right? You could put your hair in if you wanted a really specific thing, or if you wanted to, I have great sex with my husband 3 times a week, put a little bit of your hair, put a little bit of his hair. And I mean, if I was going to do that spell, it would be pubic hair, not hair on my head. But hey, ladies, do what you want. And that also will break down and nourish the plant and also nourish your intention. So you decide how in depth. And maybe you're going to add the eggshells later or the hair later, or as you fertilize it to layer it onto the spell again, whatever. It's up to you. So I have my receptacle, I have my soil medium, I have my plant, I have something to write my wish on. It might be a bay leaf, it might be an eggshell, it might be a piece of paper, it might, whatever. And you write your intention. That's why having a short intention is nice. You write it on there, you fold it towards you, turn, fold it towards you, turn, fold it towards you. I like 3. You can literally, if you don't want to do that, you can just put it on the bottom and put the soil on top of it. Oh, onion skin is really good. And then, of course, you can do this outside like I did in my video, or you can do this at an altar. You can cast a circle in a field and do it there. You can do it with your coven or your family, whatever, however you want to add to it, however you want to ramp it up, ramp it down, whatever. It's up to you. It's all versatile. You might have your pot that you've blessed at your altar with your prosperity candles, calling in your deities, and you've called the circles and whatever. And then you plant that plant, you in the circle with your energies that you've called. Or you could just do it like I do it in my yard, saying like, this is going to be this. Whoop, cover it up. Done. And that's the way it is. So I'm going to go over more of the plant spell tomorrow. This is not about the plant spell. I use marble. I think that only for practicality, because I think that wood absorbs more than marble does. If I was going to like squash guts or grave dirt or do some baneful stuff, I wouldn't want it absorbed into the wood. I feel like marble's better, easier to clean. But I mean, it just depends on you. So that's the last part for me, is planning the spell. So the basic things that I need for my spell is an envelope, a paper, another paper, because I like to write it in an envelope, seal it to follow up, and banana peels. Exactly, very good. Amethyst. Coffee grounds. Coffee grounds add power, intensity, and they're great fertilizer. And also, when you have the plant planted, a sprinkle of cinnamon on top adds power, prosperity, and all sorts of good things to the spell. And it also dissuades creepy crawlies and mold. So it's a really good additive as well. Ladies, we can do friends, non-binaries, all of my witches. Um, you can literally do so many things that you would normally do for garden magically. It's all of it. It's just works. It works. I have my tomato plants with little sprinkles of cinnamon, and that, yes, that it intensifies the intention, but also it protects them from bugs. That's really great, mystical moonflower, and that would be a good way to attune it to you or the person. If you were doing a healing spell with some aloe vera and you put that person's clippings in there, as their clippings break down and nourish the aloe vera could help heal them. So basically, what I need for this ritual is an envelope of paper, um, something to write on with the plant, and I want my book of shadows, a pen, and then whatever else I need for the intention. So I might have my plant that coincides with prosperity, my intention for prosperity, my pot, and then I might have also a crystal. Once everything's buried and settled, and I have my beautiful plants in my pot, I might put crystals, like maybe some pyrites and or maybe a shiny, beautiful Sacagawea coin or a pure silver coin. Oh, we got somebody crying, my poor baby. Um, whatever it is that resonates with your intention in your spell, in your planter. And then I might also have on my altar to help further work the work a prosperity candle. I might have a crystal grid with all these different gems for prosperity working there as well. I might have an incense related to prosperity burning while I'm working at that. I might have um, a tarot card on my altar with the candle while I'm working at a bench working on this. You can literally add whatever you want to intensify it. And the more you add, the more it gets you in that space to focus your will like a laser beam. And that's what it is. Once I have all of that, on the day of the new moon, because this is the get ready part. We're getting ready together. I'm thinking of all these ideas as I'm working through this with you. And so I've done a sample of the plant spell video. It's not really a spell that I did because you know how I feel about that, but also I wanted to share something with you. And so it's a practice one, but it does show you the steps. And again, I talk about like how you can add or take away whatever you wanted to make it yours. So for me, bye, Rochelle. Love you. Have a good day. Take care. Hope you do a new moon ritual, and if you do, let me know how it goes. So I basically have my list here, and I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I got this plant. I want to make sure that I get my prosperity ritual oil to put around the rim of my pot. I want to make sure that I'm burning this incense. I'm going to put these crystals on my altar. I'm going to make sure that I have a prosperity candle burning that I've had in my damn drawer, my candle shelf for way too long. I'm going to burn that. That is what's happening. I'm going to put in the 9 or the 10 of Pentacles, or maybe if I want to start something, the Ace of Pentacles on my altar to look at. I am going to get a lucky coin. Maybe I'm even going to make a mojo bag to kind of carry with me to remind me of the plant. I don't know. Maybe I'm planting a plant that I'm going to harvest the leaves for. When I harvest the leaves on the new moon or the full moon of Taurus of that basil plant, I'm going to save them and I'm going to use them in prosperity magic again. And it's going to have all of this layer of intention already built into it, and it's going to be super potent. I'm just writing my notes. I'm just making plans. I'm just ready to go. And so when the new moon comes, I have my list. I'm ready. I get all my stuff together. And even if I'm tired, I can still, for the most part, get it all done, because I've already done the prep work up to a week in advance. So I think that I've covered everything. What I would suggest is after all the working's done, you should write. I like to journal exactly what I did, what I added, how I felt afterwards, any notes in my journal as I go. And then in the full moon, when I open this on the full moon of Taurus in the fall, number one, I'll try to harvest some of my basil or whatever it is for future prosperity magic uses. Number two, I can look and say, oh, yeah, that's right. On April 22nd, I planted this plant for this intention. The plant is beautiful. I got to raise at work, or, maybe I prospered, but not at work necessarily. But man, we are really in a good place at home, or whatever. I can see how it manifested. Or if it didn't, I can kind of see like where it went wrong. It's like, oh, well, I kind of went through a depression and I didn't take care of my plants. I didn't take care of myself. I got into some trouble at work. That's what happened. And so I kind of have a longer term record. That's a lot. I'm ready for the new moon. How do you guys feel? Did you like this? Oh, crickets. Says I have 10 people. Hello, friends. Thanks, Marge. I'm really glad. Or it says Marge, aka Leanne. Thank you so much. I'm glad you liked it. I want to do more of this on my channel next week. Same time, I'm going to, oh God, next week in the morning. Mystical Moonflower. Again. Yay. Oh, no worries. Next week, I don't know if we're gonna go camping or not. If we go camping, it'll be early, either that or Saturday night. I might do it Saturday night. I don't want to step on any toes. I know some people, they really plan and they really rely on people coming to their lives. I kind of like, it is what it is. You can join me at the time. I'm going to do the best that I can to answer your questions, or you might watch it later and I will answer your comments then too. This is going to be a different flavor every month, but next month it's going to be a little bit more streamlined because while we're still going to review all the information for Gemini, I'm going to be better at it as I go because this is my first time sharing and really putting out into the universe to other people how my process goes. So next week I hope to do Sabbat, Beltane. It's going to be a little bit slower like this one because I don't know if it's going to be Saturday night. I will let you know. As soon as I know, I will start posting it on the community page of my channel. Because number one, I don't want to step on any toes. And number two, I don't know if we're camping or not. I hope so because I have so many decks and tools that I can't use without blessing them at a campfire. And I really, really want to use my Threads of Fate Oracle, but I'm very superstitious and I don't believe in connecting with cards that way without blessing them together with my husband with a campfire. That's just my thing. I have really good luck that way. So next week is going to be Sabbats. The Sabbat is Beltane. We're going to look at different resources, some of the same. So different flavors. What is like the energy? So Sabbat works a little bit different than ritual work because no worries, Leapad. My son is out there building a mother effing mud puddle in the middle of the yard. And my husband's just sitting there looking at him like they're starting a swimming pool. So I'm going to have to deal with that as soon as I'm done. It looks like they made a ramp out of mud and a mud puddle for my son to drive his big wheel through. And we're going to have to talk about that as soon as I get off this live. I'm literally watching them do it. I know. Maybe I'll let them go. I told him to keep him quiet so that I can do this, and he has been quiet. So there's that. So what I want to talk about really briefly, because I've kept you guys so long, and thank you so much for sticking with me, is that Esbats work, so moon work, and Sabbat work are different. For me, again, everything that I say is not law. This is just my understanding of it. You will have to do your research and read and figure out what works best for you and what. It's all you, boo-boo. You're making the rules. This is not an organized religion. Whatever spirit identifies with you, oh my Lord. Oh Lord, he is stuck on a mud hill. And now he's screaming. Okay. Whatever spirit moves you to do whatever you need to do, you do it. For me, traditionally, Sabbats are celebrations and a moment for me to honor this moment in my life. Because really think about it. How many times in your life are you going to celebrate a Sabbat? They're limited. You don't have an infinite number of those. How many times will I trick or treat with my son? Well, a handful. In my whole life, a handful. And so for me, Sabbats are like a little more somber, a little more bittersweet, because I want to really be present in my life. This is me. This is our family. This is where we are as the wheel turns. In this moment, it's fleeting. And for me, Sabbat work is about anchoring myself to the present and anchoring myself to my life, so that my life is not just passing by without me, so that I really sit in this moment at the height of spring with my beautiful family and my little boy and my dogs that are probably not going to all be with me next year. And I appreciate how blessed I am. That for me is how we do Sabbats. So it's not so much about working, but it is so much about like recognizing and really saying like, oh yes, the energies are this. I really should appreciate that. Oh, I should notice that. Oh yes, this is going to start happening. This is a good time for me to look into that. These might be things that I like. For Beltane, I am trying to get pregnant, and so tradition says if you jump over a fire on Beltane and you have some lovemaking, you have a good chance of being fertile that year. So you best believe that I'm going to be doing that. But for the most part, most Sabbats are not working days for me. Sabbats are anchoring days. Sabbat are the days that we appreciate that life is finite and that it's beautiful, and that even no matter what, there's something to be grateful for. And how can we be grateful for it? And what is the flavor of that gratitude? So in May, we're going to talk about this next week. But in May, the veil is thin, just like in October. The veil is thin. These are two ends of the same sphere. So for me, I was thinking to have ancestor candles on my thing to invite them to come. So because in October, I feel more like I'm coming to them. I'm coming to shadow. And in May, it's more the veil is thin, but I feel like it's about life. The strength is on the light side. In October, the strength is on the death side. Two different poles, but the same thing technically, because I mean, the same time that you and I are doing Beltane in the Southern Hemisphere, they're doing Samhain. It's literally the same day. It's the same universe. It's the same. The veil is thin. That's all it is. The veil is thin. So I was thinking of doing some ancestral work. I'm definitely going to be jumping over something, although I'm tubby and out of shape, so my husband makes me a fire in the cauldron to jump over. But hopefully it'll work. And I just approach Sabbats differently than Esbats. Esbats, I approach like, okay, this is the energy. What working can I do? How can I manifest these things in my life? For Sabbat, it's like, this is where I am. Yeah, hopefully. I really want another baby. The older my son gets, the more I dread about starting from square one again. So just for the record, Sabbats, we're going to still be learning. We're going to make notes. We're going to journal. If you are so moved to do a working, by all means, do a working. Usually I plan a meal for my family. I sometimes plan a small working. I definitely have all sorts of correspondences, and I make a beautiful altar. But for me, it's like it's a holiday. And the holiday is about gratitude for your life. All of them. all of the Sabbats. So that's what we're working with next week. That's what I think how I'm gonna focus it next week. So we'll do the same kind of format. We're gonna talk about like when, because Sabbats are not almost never set on a whole day. And I do believe that if you work all day on Beltane, May 1st, but you don't work on the 30th or you don't work on the 2nd, then celebrate it on those days. It's not about celebrating it on an exact time, because technically we're pulling all this from God knows where, and they didn't have it on a set day or a set time. I mean, it's not just God knows where. There's histories and other things that we're referring to. But the point is, our ancestors didn't say we have to do it this day because that's what it is. I don't believe that. I believe that most of our ancestors were agrarian or agriculturally based societies, and we based it on nature's giving us signs. And so I read a really good article about that, and I've talked to that about other lives. And so I'm not going to get too into that right now, but basically I think that it's more of an anchoring for me, and that's how I'll be approaching it. I'm probably going to have some stuff on my altar. I know I'm going to have like something planned eating wise, and I know I'm going to do divination, but I don't do a whole working, almost never on a Sabbath. It's more of a, I'm going to look at my property. I'm going to check out my animals. I'm going to check out my plants. I'm going to really look at my son. I'm going to really look at his little feet. They're not fat anymore, and they kind of smell, and they're always dirty. Even when he takes a shower, he just goes right out in the mud with his bare feet. His little hands are not fat anymore. He's getting tall and thin. He has an opinion. My husband cut his hair, so he looks like an inmate. I'm going to look at him. I'm going to look into his little eyes, and I'm going to suck it in, because this is a fleeting moment. And that's, for me, is what it's about. It's about not letting your life pass you by. It's about not being so busy with the things that you have to do, like cleaning the house or going to work, or, I mean, it's not about that. It's about what, really, aside from you, in the bigger context of your life, aside from your day-to-day, what do you have to be grateful for? And what season is your life in? And how should you be considering and thinking in this season of Mother Nature, but also how does this correlate to yourself? Because we are still a reflection. If Mother Nature is our mother and people are reflections of their upbringing, of their family, then Mother Nature going through her cycles, the sun going through his turn through the sky, and the moon waxing and waning, those are reflections in us. And so we can learn and identify similarities between where our mother is, where our planet is, its season, and us. And that it's really vital work for us to do that, because it's not just about the daily grind. If you only worry about the daily grind, you miss the big picture. And then you look back, and do you remember the last time you went trick-or-treating with your kid? What year was it? What did he wear? Was he happy? Did you enjoy it? Were you terse with him? I know, Lily Pad. I am too. How many times have I started a video like, I'm so busy, I'm so sorry, I'm so busy. And it's just like, there's nothing wrong with that. You got to do what you got to do to make your life what you want it to be. There's no guilt there. But a Sabbath is a good day for you to be like, take a breath, smell the flowers, really look at your family, really look at yourself, really look at your life, really take it in and be grateful. So that's my 2 cents about Sabbath. And that's what I hope you guys will join me next week. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, my first Get Ready With Me. So next week should be Get Ready With Me Beltane, and the week after should be Get Ready With Me Full Moon. And then I think it depends on what the atmosphere is. But the week after, I don't think there's any astrological events. So it may or may not be something different that I'm thinking about doing. But I will have to really look at my calendar to. Oh, you can watch it again. So stay tuned for that. Probably tomorrow, I'm going to be posting my plant spell. I'm just going to warn you guys, I filmed it in my front porch. And so there is cars on the highway, so it's noisy. My son's out there talking to me. My dogs are barking. The peacocks are squawking. So there's a lot of noise, but I'm not sorry, because even though it's a little embarrassing, and I see some people do their really professional videos, and I just love them. If you can do that, awesome. But I also feel like this is my real life, and this is real magic that I do. And sometimes I'm literally doing this magic in sweatpants or my nightgown out in my yard, tilling and planting my magic. And that's totally valid. And you got to be able to do magic. Like, in my opinion, magic is not like this thing that has to be perfect. It's just like things that you have to do in life. We have this saying, like, anything worth doing is worth doing well. And that's absolutely true. However, if you have to choose between doing the thing and not doing it because you can't do it well, still do it. Do it. Anything worth doing well is worth doing shitty. Like, as long as you still do it and you don't miss out. So don't wait for that perfect moment. Don't wait till you have all this stuff. If you got a little damn jiffy pot and a little bit of soil and you probably have soil somewhere that you can grab it, and a couple seeds, or even a tomato, or even the bottom part of a celery, anything. You can plant anything. Do it. Don't wait for you to have all the things. Don't wait for you to go to the store. Don't wait for you to have all of this perfect thing lined up. Don't wait for that. Do it anyway. It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be sincere. You can do sincerity for nothing. I'm done preaching. Sorry, guys. I got off on a tangent. Anyways, that's coming tomorrow. There's going to be some deck reviews. There's going to be some unboxings. There's going to be this, that, and the other. I'm trying to stay really active on the channel. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much. I am going to wrap this up because it's been a long time. I know, Autumn, I do that too. And then I have videos where I have fucking 80 candles on the bottom shelf of my goddamn drawer instead of doing all that beautiful magic I keep promising myself I'm going to do. And I'm not doing that anymore. There's no need for that. There is no need for that. I have the sincerity, the will, and the power in my heart all the time, and so do you. You don't need any of that shit. But if you have it, use it. Don't wait for a special occasion. Except for my Anita Apothecary Cauldron. I'm not using that. But the other candles, there's no reason for not to do it. There's no perfection. It's not a test. You're not showing off to anybody else. Just do it. Just do it. You'll feel better. You'll learn something. You'll get closer to whatever it is that you want to get closer to. And you'll get better. You won't be perfect, but you'll make progress. Trying will create progress, whereas dreaming and hoping and waiting and wishing doesn't do anything. So I love you guys. I am trying to be better, which is why I'm talking that. I'm not preaching to you guys. This is literally the shit that I have to tell myself. And excuse my language, this is not for kids, but this is real talk. And sometimes you have to be like, yes, you will do this thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just do it. And most of the time when I do that, I feel great that I've done it. It might not be perfect. I might not be like willing to share it with everything, but at least I did it for myself. At least I did it for my learning. At least I did it for my practice. At least I know what not to do. At least I tried. It's better to try something. It's better to learn something. And we are so mean to each other sometimes. It's really scary to share the actual practical stuff, and then the other witches get this idea that like it's only great and wonderful and really beautifully laid out and photographed and all this other shit. That is not true. That is most of us creating the perfect scenario to film. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I filmed in my front yard with all this damn noise because that's the kind of life and the kind of witch that I am. And I'm going to share it with you guys tomorrow. And that's all there is. And some people are going to squawk. And I have literally had people being like, this is so unprofessional. It's like, eat a dick, bitch. This is my life. And yeah, my child is making noise, but he lives here. So that got really mean. I just deleted her. I didn't talk shit to her. I just deleted her comment. But all I'm saying is live. Don't wait for perfect. Just live. Progress and experience is better than perfection any day. Try it, live it. This is always going to be a safe space. I'm not going to talk shit to you. So like, you can contact me here. You can contact me on my Facebook, on my Instagram. And I'm not going to do that thing where I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait because I see like beautiful creations. I'm going to try to share. I'm going to try to do it nicely, but if I can't, I'm still going to do it because that's authentic life. Oh, Marge. Go through some of my videos. My son is always squawking and squealing and making all sorts of noise. But anyways, this is so close to 2 hours. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm so sorry. I'm ranting and raving. And I do want to, like, there's been some really good content coming out. I saw it on Drew's channel, She Who Walks Between the World. I saw it on Lily Pat's channel, where we're talking about concepts, deeper depth concepts that we may or may not agree on, or how we personally connect with deity, or any of that. That is the meat of this whole thing that I have been looking for the whole time. I don't do that so much because, number one, I'm very superstitious about what I share. But also, number two, I am not trying to have somebody get up my butt about how I'm incorrect, because I am not the one. Don't do it. Unless I'm hurting something or I'm being like immoral or illegal, don't tell me that what I'm doing spiritually is wrong. It's just the way I feel about it. But I do want to hear like how you do it, and I want you to hear how I do it, and maybe we can inspire each other and learn something. And so I'm really excited to see what's coming out on their channels, and I'm really paying attention. But I think the time for authenticity is here, and I also think the time for grace and making space for each other to like maybe not agree is now. The space is now. We need to make that space for each other. We need to stop eating our young. We need to support each other. And we need to talk about things even when they're not perfect, so that witches who are just starting don't think that they suck because it's not perfect. It's not perfect for witches who have been witches for 20 years. It's just the way it is. That's just life. Sometimes you make an amazing cake that looks great. Sometimes you bake a cake that tastes great and looks ugly. And sometimes you make a goddamn mess and your husband's like, my mom makes it better. And you're like, go eat at your mom's house then. But that's all life. That's all great and wonderful. So I'm going to end it now. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for looking at my live. If you like this content, please give me a thumbs up. Give me your feedback in the comments. I really, really hope that this was something meaningful and resonating with you. And I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Take care and just do it. Just do it. Go for it. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. Just go for it. I love you. Bye.